Yeah, be dead, but no, I'll tell you one thing. Coming on. There we go. Hello, everybody. Thank you so very much for clicking on 11 p.m., the 30th day of May, 2024. And, well, I had a different show planned for this evening, but something happened along the way today. Um, the jury came back with a unanimous verdict of guilt on all 37 charges. All 30, or I'm sorry, forgive me, all 34 felony charges. Jury comes back guilty, verdicts on all 34 charges. That happened. And so here we go. Hello, Fred. Thank you for joining. I'm going to hop over to the X file and get this thing rolling along. Got a few things to talk about tonight. Um, this is Omarosa from The Apprentice. She was pretty much all over social media today because this got shared. Trump's former assistant heard the tape of Donald Trump calling a black man the N-word. It was clear as day. Donald Trump is a con. When he talked the way he did on that tape, it confirmed he is truly a racist, is what she was saying. And the people were saying that she just released it today. Actually, she made these comments back in 2018 on Meet the Press. Um, this was the direction I was heading, but I don't think it's going to matter too much now whether he called someone the N word or not. Um, some information that we should pay attention to that is not related to the trial of Donald Trump and the conviction of Donald Trump. According to a senior Israeli defense official, the order has now been given to the Israeli Defense Forces Northern Command and other forces in northern Israel to expand the military operations into southern Lebanon against Hezbollah. So that is a sign that Israel has in their minds Gaza well under control from basically end to end. A lot of activity going on in the West Bank as Israel tries to dislodge several Palestinian families in the West Bank. That's not talked about a lot because all the focus has been on Gaza. Now they're going into southern Lebanon. At one time, Israel did occupy Lebanon. So this is a guy called Nick Fuentes, and they're describing him as an anti-Semitic white nationalist, and he threatens that he and his Groyper followers, aren't going to vote for Trump because Trump's campaign is controlled by Jews and pro-Israeli neocons. This is 54 seconds long. Let's listen to just a moment.
All the people that are ideologically sympathetic. I know all the people that are on side. They feel exactly the same way as I do. They feel exactly the same way. Many of them are borderline considering quitting politics because of their experience with Trump. And they see that it is the same game that we played in the first term, which is battling the Jews in the White House, battling the neocons, battling the Israel firsters. I think the Groypers are going to withhold the votes. It's going to be a close election. If he can go to the Libertarian convention, then he can give something to the Groypers. If he wants to go for the Libertarians to get 1% of the vote and they had a convention with 1,000 people, well, then he can earn our vote as well. And I don't like what I see. I know all the people on the.
Okay, so there you go. I'm sure I showed that just because this is going to the fracturing of the Republican Party is going to be a real deal. I talked about it last night. I'm going to play some of what I said last night at the end in case you weren't with us. Again, non-Trump related. Hamas has said that they're ready to reach a complete agreement, including comprehensive hostages and prisoners exchange deal, if Israel stops the war on Gaza. This came in 9 hours ago. This has been all but lost in the spectacle of the Trump situation, and I do not think Israel is. I don't think Israel is going to act on this outreach of peace with Hamas. That's just, but we shall see, and we'll keep an eye on it. This is black voters haven't forgotten that Trump was sued by the Department of Justice for racial housing discrimination. He dined with white supremacists. We just showed Nick Fuentes. He was a birther. He falsely accused the Central Park Five. Yeah, he took out a page wanting them hung, actually. So, but that's not going to matter as much as what's going on, because Trump was found guilty. And here's the reaction outside. This gentleman with the Gays for Trump shirt on. You might see his face multiple times if you are on the internet. The guy next to him, this is a little disturbing, more than a little disturbing. He threatens the families of all the reporters standing around. That's the thing about this crowd. The reporters, the media greatly outnumbered the actual Trump supporters and the counter protesters as well. But let's listen for a second here.
He's shitting God.
Okay, by the way,
I'm fucking pissed.
Fuck you and fuck Joe Biden too.
Fuck Joe Biden.
All I know is this.
by the way, there's going to be some strong language here.
A whole nother animal and a whole new way.
It's a lynching. It's a lynching. It's political interference.
Hold on just a second. I, in the process of getting the volume up, I missed the threat, and that's the only thing I really wanted to play.
Curse, motherfucker.
Okay, again, strong language.
Curse. You suck. You suck. There is no justice in this country.
Okay, this guy right here.
Guilty! Not guilty!
Not
He's
guilty,
not guilty!
motherfucker!
You piece of shit! Why the con? He's shit and died! You're fucking corrupt,
Your
motherfucker!
fucking kids are all dead. Your kids are all
Piece
fucking
of
dead.
shit!
All your
Piece of
fucking
shit.
children, they're all fucking
I
dead.
found guilty!
I don't know that if I kind of consider that threatening. That comes from Scootercaster, and follow her, of course, here on YouTube, and also follow her on Twitter. Kimberly Guilfoyle was in the middle of her live Rumble broadcast and stops and looks as she's found out that, wait, the jury didn't go home. They're bringing a verdict. And for those that understand, this is one of those, if you know, you know. The verdict came back at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so Kimberly was live, and this is an attorney, Jesse Bennell. And
news that has come in and that we're reading across the news wires is guilty, count 1, guilty verdict, count 2, guilty verdict, count 4, so 3 and 4, count 5, guilty verdict, count 6, guilty verdict.
So that was her reaction live as it was happening. Tucker Carlson, his comment: import the third world, become the third world. That's what we just saw. This won't stop Trump. He'll win the election if he's not killed first. This is the only reason I showed this, because the right, the far right, led by Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones, um, Steve Bannon, and Mike Flynn, they're constantly talking about Trump being assassinated. And I've told you the reason why I think they would do it. Political strategy wise, he is worth much more as a martyr than he is as a candidate, especially one that is a 34-time felon. And the down ticket, the Republicans down ticket, those that are below the office of president in the order of balloting, the down ballot offices, they all know that Trump is an anchor on them and their campaigns, because the most boisterous and the most fervent will continue, but the common sense and the reputations will come into play. I'm just going to leave it at that. And Tucker also went on to say, anyone who defends this verdict is a danger to you and your family. Okay. Let me just point out that when Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty, the comment was respect the jury. And when George Zimmer was found not guilty, it was respect the verdict. And now, in this situation, I ask anyone that is not, I ask anyone that is a what you had up to this point considered to be a diehard Trumper to consider reconsidering your position. Consider reconsidering, because it's time to respect the verdict. It's time to respect the jury. Things that have been, you have called on yourselves, many of you, in the past. As I said, here, much more press at this thing, and I've said it before. Trump events are spectacles, and people make a spectacle of themselves to try to get on camera. They show up to get attention and to be seen. They're there much more for themselves than they are for Trump. And that's just, and then people come to see that. And I had a video of a lady from England that came down because she saw it on TV and she thought it was incredible entertainment and she wanted to see it in person. And a MAGA person almost beat her with a flag. Craziness. So as you can see, there aren't a lot of counter protesters back over here on this side. A lot more media, and this is what came out. His website went down. Former president's website went down right after the verdict came out, and everybody said, "Oh, it crashed because it was overuse, over demand." That wasn't what was going on. It was being retooled, and this is what where you're led to now. It's a political prisoner with his and I'm a political prisoner is what he's saying. Now I'm asking for you to stand with me today. Okay, first of all, politics had something to do with this, in that he led to a fraudulent election. So it has to be questioned whether he has any of the actual rights of a former president, because the election that he won was fraudulently conducted. And today's vote in by the jury, which I'm gonna add. Hang with me if you're a Trumper. Hang with me. I've got some more things for you to think about. All right. For those that don't know, I ran for office. I've been on the ballot. What is it now? 11 times, 11 or 12 times in Indiana as a federal candidate. Most of those times. And with that being said, I never had a campaign where I asked for $1. Can you give me $1? And this is an incredible sign of desperation. If he's a political prisoner, it's because he sought a political advantage and conspired to do so with Michael Cohen and David Pecker, and that's what the jury found today. Now, who was that jury exactly? You know, it's saying these are Democrats. Well, we're going to take a look at that coming up as well. Again, this guy's trying to flip this guy in the face with a T-shirt. They are not taking it well that it didn't go their way, and they're demanding violence. Again, I'm going to call for everyone to do what the far right have said often, and that is respect the verdict and respect the jury. That's the way it works in America, the rule of law. Adam Kinzinger points out Trump is now ineligible for even a basic secret security clearance. So if he is somehow back in the White House, he wouldn't know anything. Some might say that didn't stop him the first time, but that would create a problem for national security if you cannot see that. And I've been saying for a while, neither one of them are going to be president. And that's not what tonight is about. This is that look on your face when you realize you're not getting paid. This, of course, is for those that don't know. This is Trump's lawyer, whose client was convicted on 34 counts, felony counts, more counts than even Jeffrey Dahmer was convicted on. Now we'll hear from the former president and now felon tomorrow. Press conference tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. at the Trump Tower atrium. And then there was an event in Minneapolis, Minnesota, shortly after the Trump verdict came out. This was breaking. There was a mass shooter, and the mass shooter was targeting both civilians and law enforcement. At least 6 people were shot in Minneapolis, including 2 police officers. One of the officers passed away. He was 28 years old. The other one is in critical condition, and law enforcement has apprehended the shooting suspect. So we'll have more on that. This is one thing I want everybody to keep in mind. Trump has 3 more criminal cases. All right. This isn't politics. This is criminal cases, committing crimes. This New York case was the weakest of the 4, and Alex Go asked to let that sink in. This was the weakest of the 4. The they're saying Joe Biden, this, Joe Biden doing this, Joe Biden doing. No, this was the state of New York, and actually, the federal Department of Justice passed on this case, and in favor of the other two. They didn't know if there was time to do all three. They felt this was the weakest, and New York State went ahead with the case, and we know that there were 34 felony convictions handed down by the jury this afternoon at 4:20 p.m. 30th day of May, 2024. Historic, first time in history a former president has been sentenced for criminal acts, 34 criminal acts, and this was the weakest. Now the federal cases, there's still a case coming in Georgia, and the other federal cases are the January 6th, the case where did he commit an insurrection? Did he lead an insurrection? Is the basis of that case in layman's terms. And the other case is the classified documents case. And allegedly, he still has classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. So that may not be over yet, but there still are 3 more cases to come. And the way I understand it, that is one of the reasons the sentencing has been delayed until July the 11th. 97 years ago today, it is 1 month after registering what is now called the Trump Organization. Fred Trump was arrested at a KK rally that night, 1927, and arrested for rallying with the KKK. 2024, 97 years later, son convicted of 34 felonies. Now, if the judge wanted to, and he gave him the average sentence for each one of the felonies, Trump would be looking at probably 130 years in prison. Michael Cohen received 3 years in prison. The former Trump attorney that testified against him. Cohen served 3 years in prison, and that was after he took a plea deal to plead guilty, and he still got he still got a 3-year sentence. Now Trump has taken everybody through a jury trial that could play into whether or not or the length of incarceration the former president might be facing. Now, this is significant. Adam Kinzinger again pointing it out from Ryan Silvey. It only takes one juror to hang a jury. One person saying no, there's no way that he did any of these things, let alone did all of these things. It only takes one to have a hung jury. And in this case, juror number 2, who we believe is a female, answered that Trump's Truth Social was their only source of news. Okay, that's false to begin with. All right, that's not a fact, and I'll show you that in just a second. That person, if that person had voted not guilty on even one charge, but the person that follows Truth Social gets their news from Truth Social. As you can see, here's a list of the jurors and alternates. They were asked the question where they got their news. BBC, CNN, down. Okay, juror 2, we go down, and juror 2 got the news from Truth Social and from X. So this is not a liberal person at all. And this juror, whoever they may be, still voted for guilt on all counts. And I believe that is a statement on our system as it is supposed to work. Joe Biden did not convict Donald Trump. The Democratic Party did not convict Donald Trump. No politician convicted Donald Trump. A jury of regular, everyday citizens who didn't ask for the job reviewed the evidence and convicted Donald Trump. That's the way it works in the country that we still have at the moment. Whoa. Jumped ahead there. No, I guess I didn't. All right. So, how am I doing time-wise? All right. This is Anthony Scaramucci. This was he was one of Trump's inner circle while Trump was in the White House, and Scaramucci didn't last long. He was also I think, Trump campaign manager. Here's what he says an hour ago. After Trump loses, then he puts in the parentheses, if he actually ends up the nominee, parentheses. Again, I'm not the only one that has been involved in politics. I'm not the only one that has seen how things work. I'm not the only one that understands that the poll numbers are only as good as the sample they are taken from. And more often than not, when you do a little digging, you'll find that polls are only conducted on landline numbers. They're not conducted on cell phones as far as political polls. They only call landline numbers, and they normally take the list from the VAN, is what it's called. It's called Voter Access Network. It's the way that the parties keep track of who votes for who, basically. So anyway, Scaramucci says after Trump loses, if he actually ends up the nominee, there will have to be a reckoning in the Republican Party, the way the soldiers said sorry to Dorothy after the water melted the witch. Not sure what soldiers. I don't remember soldiers after Dorothy melted the witch, but I guess there might have been. Oh, that was okay. The first witch, the second witch, no. Anyway, the GOP will need to apologize to the country for enabling all of this. That's the real point. The actual people that are going to be around and pick up the pieces once all of this, there's going to have to be a reckoning. The Marco Rubios and the Ted Cruzes and those people that plan on long time on the government payroll, as well as the other incomes they generate, let's just say, in order to keep to cover their own patooties, there's going to have to be a reckoning, or the Republican Party will never win again. The fact that Trump was found guilty, the poll, I'm not sure who conducted the poll. Again, poll numbers, but the group, the Republicans polled, 11% of them said this is going to affect how they vote. 10% of independents said this will affect how they vote. If you do factor those numbers out to the number of voters in the country, let's say there are 200 million vote this fall. 10% of 200 million is 2 million, and no, 20 million. So that is a large number to overcome when you're trying to win enough states to secure the presidency. And the Republican Party knows that. Now, he's going to get sentenced on January the 11th, and the Republican National Convention is a week or two after that. I don't know the exact date, but I'm not the only one that is questioning his nomination, and it's something the Republicans are thinking about very strongly. Just remember that. Now, another thing, I talked about this last night. The fact that they're saying, well, it doesn't say anything in the Constitution about being a felon, disqualifying you as being president if you're a felon. However, several states have a judge guilty of a felony in another state that would also be a felony in this state. This case, I think it's South Carolina. Any person who has been adjudged guilty of corruption or malpractice in any office, or any person who has been removed by. So if you are a felon, you are not going to be allowed on the ballots of most states. Now, whether the Republican states will make some kind of exception for Trump, we will see. As I'm about to show you, I don't think they will. I honestly don't think they will. And that's what I'm going to end up with. I'm going to end up with a little bit of what I said last night. Ballot is, gosh, we hate to do this, but you've been convicted of a felony and you can't be on the ballot. Sorry, we wish it wasn't this way. And I think Florida will be the first one to come out when all this starts happening. Again, it could happen as early as Friday. Okay. So basically, as I said there, it's going to be state to state. There are going to be states that he may not be allowed to be on the ballot, and if enough states enact that, then he won't be eligible to win the presidency because he won't have enough electoral college votes. It's by the number of states you win, and if you are not on the ballot in some of the big states, and that's how they keep him off the ballot. Now the far right that are wanting war, and that said, we got to remember what General Mike Flynn said. When that jury comes out, it will be like JFK moment for the country, a shot heard around the world. So we will see how the country reacts as we head in to the weekend. And again, hopefully everyone on both sides, hopefully everyone says, the verdict is out. We respect the jury process, and we accept the verdict, and it's time to move on. So let me hop over to the chat here real quick and say hello again to Fred. Hi, Pat Tolliver. Officer Mac, how are you doing? And Jacqueline, people are just stupid to act a fool about Trump being found guilty. He doesn't give a damn about any of them. Jacqueline, I'm glad you posted that. Thank you. That's how I want to end this particular episode tonight, by reminding the people, especially those on the right, that there are a lot of people already in jail for Trump. A lot more people are going to go to jail because of Trump. And Trump himself is going to end up going to jail because of Trump. There is no need for you to act a fool and go to jail for Trump in any way, shape, or form. Time to move on. We got things we really have to solve, and it's time to quit screaming at each other and start standing back to back and defending each other from much bigger situations than a convicted felon, which is now the situation. And again, this could lead back to the expunging, if you will, of Trump's presidency, of it being having an asterisk beside it as being a fraudulent victory. And depending on how the elections come out in 2024, it could lead to him getting stripped of a lot of the benefits that he takes advantage of. Just a possibility. All of that could happen. It's going to be a long few days here between now and July 11th for the former president. Always on his head is going to be, I could go to prison. And I think the longer it goes, the more that's going to be a factor. And I don't know if it will bring out anger or if it will, if, when in pressure situations, the instinct is one of two. It is to either fight or flight. And he could be an incredibly wealthy man worldwide by taking the documents he has copied and that he allegedly still has, taking them to China or Russia, and selling those documents and live in lavish outside of the country if he chose to do so. He can leave New York and not come back for the sentencing, and create a conflict within states between Florida and New York as far as going in and extraditing him. I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't a scenario that rises. I hope it's not. But so who you support says more about you than it does about them. Always remember that. And if you back the wrong horse, it's okay to get out off that horse and you don't even have to ride again for a while if you want. Not necessary to jump on another horse. So um, I wish everybody nothing but peace, love, blessings. I love you all like chocolate chip cookies. And hit the subscribe, like. If you've subscribed, hit that notification bell. We will be on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Chris is going to be joining us. And hopefully we don't have uh, a lot of activity from people who are incredibly emotional at the moment over the fact that first time in history a former president has been convicted of criminal charges. This case, 34 felonies, and that's what happened. And that makes it even a more darker world than it normally is, because the potential for us to something to ignite if if we make it through this weekend and there's not a whole lot of anything, um, that is my hope, and I think that will be a sign that we can begin to move forward as a country, because we've been in the situation we're in now for way too long, and again, we've got more problems to try to come together and solve than just that of the former host of The Apprentice, who allegedly said a word that probably would have helped his campaign had he not. That was one of the things I had and took out was Trey Crowder talking about how using the N word is going to energize his base. Um, we're in tough times. I'd like to say, um, I just became a grandpa again this week, and it is exciting. It is a blessing. It is a joy, um, but it is also very concerning because of where we're at and and where we may go. And I hope again, I hope we can get on a path of progress from where we find ourselves on this 30th of May, heading into the first day of June tomorrow, and we'll be on tomorrow night at 9 with Chris. Again, thank you. Subscribe, like, share. If you'd like to help support the show, man, do we need it? You can do so at the Cash App, which is $American Doofus, AMERIC ANDUFUS. Again, love y'all like chocolate chip cookies. It's a dark world. Be a light. Thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking on.